So the Iranian people have become experts at recognizing the Islamic Republic's propaganda, right? The most recent attempt by the Islamic Republic was to push Taroneh Ali Dosti on us as part of the opposition, and it was immediately recognized as something that we're not going to tolerate. This is what, by the way, this is a utility of Pahlavi as well, because it filters out all the bad actors and even the people who are, once you come in, let's say for example we topple the regime and we have some people who want to pretend that they're with us but they're not really with us. Okay, and then what are they going to do? Like, how are they going to harm us?
I don't know. That is like arguing on the missing link of evolution. I don't
Right,
know, but
right.
I'm afraid of what I'm saying. That's all.
But the thing is that you shouldn't be afraid, because that actually means that we're winning so much that the people in the regime has over like the what you're saying actually makes me very hopeful if it's true. You're saying that the regime is so over, that the fall of the regime is so guaranteed that some people are not even trying to save the regime, they're planning for the day after. I'm like, oh, that's actually that's a very optimistic way of looking at it. That's people within the regime. They're like, oh, okay,
No, no, it's
we're
not what
fucked.
I'm saying. I'm saying that it
Uh,
would be an IRGC shadow puppet that will rise from nobody knows where.
yeah,
And how
but as long as we
the
have
whole
the leadership of
government?
Pahlavi, we're not going to make anyone else leader. This is why we don't. This is exactly why we don't trust anyone else other than Pahlavi, because he's going to be the leader. Nobody else is going to be leader for the transition period.
I would
He's
Right.
the
be
only one
more
we trust.
scared of an option that they're keeping silent because they want to attack altogether. That would be a more realistic option, but not that they accept the fall of the empire, the IRGC, and then plan to like survive this way. I'm not sure it makes a lot of sense. It makes sense for maybe single people here and there, but not as an organization.
But Iranian people are extremely skeptical of anybody. Like, they have had experienced people trying to come in and pretending to be somebody that they're not, that like the levels of skepticism, it might be even too high. Like, I said, if you think you're being worried, we have had so many bad experiences by trusting so many different people, that one reason people say that nobody other than Pahlavi could be trusted is because of these bad experiences. So our guard is really up. It's really hard for anybody to try to push themselves on us because we don't trust anybody. And you can see another birds in the chat is saying we can smell them from 1,000 miles away. Yeah, exactly. We become experts at that.
I
I
hope.
don't know if
Because
there's a video in Persian Spaces. I don't know if I've seen it on Instagram. I don't know if Armin's seen it, but it's the political commentator that he used to take calls from people about politics and whatever, and he was very pro Pahlavi and pro monarchist. There's this video that people are calling him. There's this guy on the phone, and he's trying to test the guy to see where his political stance is. He says, "Say death to Khomeini," and the guy says, "Death to Khomeini." He says, "Say death to IRGC." He says, "Death to IRGC." He says, "Say death to blah 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 blah." So he keeps going on, and the guy keeps saying, "Death to, death to." At the end, he says, "Say Javid Shah," and the guy goes, "Why should I say Javid Shah?" And then Sakuri goes, "Then go die." So that's our standard at this point.
Yeah.
It's funny because
Well,
I think it's a cultural thing, maybe, because what is there a problem to say words that you don't mean them? You like, can't he say Javi Chai if he doesn't mean it? Is it? It
They
seems
don't.
like
They
it
really
has,
hate saying that.
yeah.
Yeah.
I can say for my side that people to annoy me always say Bibi King. Bibi is the king. They think like if I will say it for them, it will be meaningful, or not say it. It's
right.
meaningful.
And when the left tries to get at us, they say, "Go bow down to your king," as if Bibi is our king.
Oh,
Go bow
Okay.
down to your king.
is there a major division over this in Israel over BB being like you guys love
No, but we
BB
can
too much?
understand. But we can understand very good, like why a group is stuck to a word, and then this word, if you say yes or no to this word, it means a lot. And
Yeah, but it doesn't seem the same because if we had some sort of loyalty test, everybody would pass. If that was the loyalty test to say, ah, Bibi is the king, okay, everybody would say it. It's like it's not it doesn't hold the same weight, I think. The only loyalty test I can see is if you take an ultra orthodox and tell them to say something. Yes, that's religious.
They do say pro Pahlavi things, that the one that we know. Okay, so they actually support their vision of what they want Princess of Pahlavi to be, which is like a dictator that is going to just come, force his way upon people, and is going to forcefully be king, and is going to bring the constitution, the Iranian constitution of Pahlavi time, and just no elections, no choice of the people, and this is how it's going to be. That's what they want, and they hate Prince Reza Pahlavi's direction. They hate his team, and they hate his plan, and they constantly attack his team, but they don't dare say anything negative about him because they were not going to have any king without him. He's the only option for a king, but they really hate everything he's doing. So they're supporting him. They pretend to support him, but they actually hate everything that he's doing. They think he's too democratic. They want a dictator. They want a king that just comes and says, I'm the king, and here's the constitution back with no referendum, no nothing. And there's not going to be a referendum between a republic or a monarchy. It's just going to be monarchy. That's what they wish he would do, but he's not doing that. So
So are they like lying or are they like telling themselves in their heads? Like, is it like when you lie and you use certain words to deceive, or is it actually like,
we have both kinds. We have both kinds.
yeah?
Hey, Zunair. Yeah, we have both of them. Hey. So yeah, Zunair, Uncle Coping is here. Hi, Mike is here, and I'm glad that Narabars is here. So guys, we're covering the stuff that is happening in Iran, the revolution that is happening in Iran. If you guys have any opinions or any questions, feel free to talk about it. Any questions, any opinions? I like Asi's questions. Asi asks really good questions.
It was rather conspiratorial. I was afraid to ask it, actually, not to look crazy.
No, don't.
But
No, it wasn't. It's actually very on point. So it's actually something that if you are involved in Iranian politics, you could see that actually it's a major concern, but something that we are way aware, like very aware of. Like we have actually been dealing with this for the past 3 years. We've been going through people who want to get in. We had tests. We had so originally we had the Qasem test. Qasim check. We called it Qasim check. So we before we trusted anybody, we would ask them what they think about Qasim Soleimani, right? And we will see that was our check, and then eventually that check was not very useful anymore. So we had what did we had a Pahlavi check, and then eventually we had an Israel check. So we wouldn't trust anybody, and that was a very good check for a while. Like that was a really good test because people who were part of the 57 mindset, as we call them, which is basically the ideology of the Islamic Revolution, even when they lie, they could not bring themselves to say like, oh yeah, I love Israel, I have no problem. Like they would lie about everything, but then when it comes to Israel, they were like they couldn't just speak, it wouldn't just they couldn't lie about that. They're like, oh, what do you think about Israel? They couldn't just say like, oh, I love Israel. They were like, fuck it, it's not worth it, fuck Israel. And like, you didn't pass the Israel check. Right, so it was a really good test, but eventually that was not good enough either, so we had to keep changing it, and we had to go look at their records, see if they had posted ever anything against Israel or anything about Pahlavi. The Pahlavi check and the Israel check was very useful for a long time. Anybody this By the way, think about how Iranians are close to Israel. When they want to see who they can trust, they go look at their record about Israel. So we Iranians don't trust anybody who's anti-Israeli. that's how that's how pro-Israeli we are.
This is the most surprising, for the other parts of the world that are not really into all of this on a daily basis. I think this is the most shocking point that you can
Yeah,
make. I was
yeah.
afraid that our bad reputation will stick on you, good people. I heard today for the IDF Farsi, he made a story about how qualified our unit called Andasakravit.
Battle engineering.
Yes. And he showed all the stuff that they do. And it looks very impressive. I have a feeling they are trying to say something about for you that don't worry, it's not just quiet for no reason. We are here, not just the Mossad.
By
Yeah.
the way, the same what I said before, the video I referenced was when he said he was like enjoying videos of the protest and yeah, well, we should follow these guys. Oh, it says Zionist. Oh, I was about to follow him. Guys, it's really not helping the cause that all these Zionist accounts are like talking about Iran protests.
Do you
It's
think
like,
now people will understand that all these celebrities that were promoting one cause all of a sudden are very quiet when it's the other
Yep,
cause?
about
People
Iran.
will connect the dots, or if we don't spell it out for them, they cannot connect the dots by
We have to
themselves.
we have to spell it out. We have to spell it out for sure. But Zonair wanted to say something. Yeah, like Chris.
Yeah. So I will admit that other than reading your emails, which I read 90% of the time completely, I the what I know about what's going on is actually from you, because with the current American news, always being in a perpetual fiasco, we don't really read that, or I don't personally read that much international news, even though if you look at the bigger picture, those bigger moving parts have a dramatic impact on where we are. But something that I have noticed is that the liberals, progressive liberals, I guess to say, is they associate, so they now have a negative viewpoint of Israel. They think Israel is this horrible place that is destroying the Palestinians. And then when Israel attacked Iran, I think a lot of those ignorant liberals, they thought, oh, like Israel is just creating more chaos, creating more conflict in the world. And so I did a little bit of research and I looked up this statistic. 81% of Iranians reject the Islamic Republic and prefer a democratic government. So I feel like liberals think that, like, oh, all these Muslim countries, they're happy how they are. We shouldn't like touch them. Like there are these, those like islands that have never been like inhabited by like West, like never been like contacted. They almost treat
Mm,
these countries like, oh, they're so like special and crystalline that if we touch them, we might like infect them with something, like it's so backwards. So what I did was I wrote a little like blurb to myself. I said 81% of Iranians reject the Islamic Republic and prefer a democratic government. They're being held hostage by a fascistic, totalitarian Islamic death cult. Instead of helping Israel liberate them, liberals are condemning them to oppression. So, fascism, persecution, and imprisonment under the guise of Islamic tolerance. Because I
mm,
feel like a lot of liberals, they will say something like, "Oh, like why is Iran, or why is Israel attacking Iran?" Like that they don't understand like the moving parts in the history. I mean, history is something I think they're anaphylactically allergic to. They think that, oh, Israel is this like horrible aggressor, and every time they do something, it must be Israel's act of war. But they don't understand that the majority, 4 out of 5 of the Iranians don't want to be held under this government. Don't you want to go back over there where your family and friends are? I just find it so antithetical that their grasp of history is so pedantic, and it's not even misinformation, it's like disinformation. It's backwards, it's antithetical to what they're trying to achieve and what they claim their values are. Thank you.
Actually, well, if they can't understand how many Iranians are anti-Islamic Republic, imagine if you explain to them how much of them are anti-Islam in general, because they're not just anti-Islamic Republic; they're anti-Islam. Iran is the most Islamophobic. Iran is the capital of Islamophobia. is the global capital of Islamophobia. So
It
imagine if you
owns my
try to
heart.
explain that to them. It's the world's
No, because whenever we look at these countries, I think of them in terms of like, oh, that's a green country, like it's full of Muslims. But the fact that that is a terrible gift wrapping job and the inside is actually not Muslim, to me it's very refreshing because I
Yeah.
think a lot of the media portrayal, which depends on what media you watch, tends to be just a little biased and how people are perceived.
Yeah. Yeah.
It also doesn't say Shushan, only in the later period after
Mm.
Sirius. And but what it does say is Elam, which I know is a place, right?
Yeah. Ilam. Yeah.
There is a very early mention in Genesis actually, and also
Okay.
Madai, which is supposed to be a people, and Kedala Omer, the king of Elam. Not sure
Yeah. It's a
if I'm
place
saying,
in the Bible.
yeah,
Yep. Ilam is an ancient place.
yeah.
All right. So going back to what Iranian people stand against, Iranian people are not just anti-Islamic, like on average, they're also extremely anti-leftist. I don't know if you know this. Like one of
Right. So can I
their
say something? Because
yeah,
I had a point on it actually. I raised my hand.
yeah. Oh, you did? I didn't see that. Sorry. You go
Uh,
ahead and mod them. Yeah.
okay, I'll start from this point. What I'm afraid of, what I'm concerned about after an Iranian revolution is the power switch, the way that they will switch the power. Because just like in 79, you remember that all these leftist Marxist organizations, they had an organization that are already ready to inherit the power, and they all had names like the peace community of the fuck blah blah blah, and
Right.
in fact it was a bunch of terrorists. And so that's what scares me. Like, how do you switch an entire police? How do you switch an entire army? How do you switch without leaving the bad seeds behind?
Hmm.
I can take it just for a second. I think it's gonna be a meritocratia, and so it's gonna be like the Shah is looking for the best scientists and position people, and this is how he wrote everything he wrote. So I think once you decided that you are going about excellency, so it's very easy to drop you if you're not excellent.
But
I,
you're assuming that if they will have an endeavor in this matter, they will not send very excellent people. They probably will. They will not send the clown, the gesture.
so I mean, studies show that the Iranian people right now, they're very interested in democracy. They're very interested in secularism. They really want human rights. They are against the things that made Iran the way it is. They want the rule of law, and they want like they like a lot of their own ancient history, but also Western standards that made Western countries great. So basically, a mix of what they have in their own culture, but also the political processes. So they don't want bloodbath. They always keep reminding, like for example, everything you are concerned about, the Iranian people are sensitive about it because against it, because they're allergic against it, because they think it's similar to the Islamic Republic. So everything that the Islamic Republic did, if you're suggesting a policy that is similar to that, so for example, if you're suggesting that we should execute the people we disagree with, then they're going to call it like a khalkhali model. They're going to like, oh, that's what the Islamic Republic did, so we don't want to do that. So for example, can you tell me a scenario that you're concerned about so I could see because how to respond to, like, can you give me some examples?
I am concerned that some people, for example, I don't know, in the Artesh, in the police, high ranked, are still will remain loyalist, and you will not know about it.
The
Well,
idea,
Khamenei will
the idea
die.
to the cause.
Khamenei will die. He will no longer
Khamenei
be
is
there.
losing his supporters even right now.
IRGC, no, not the person. Doesn't
So
matter.
okay, so IRGC is really hard to be loyal to IRGC because IRGC is not a person. Like usually, so there's three ideas that you might be worried about. Khamenei himself losing popularity, not very concerned about him. IRGC, because it's not a person, it's a system. It's really hard to become attached to IRGC because it's not like a charismatic person for you to be emotionally attached to. The thing that maybe you could be concerned about is to the Mahdi or to the Shia radicals who will still be attached to the idea that we need to prepare Iran for the Mahdi to come. Okay, so Khamenei, I'm not worried about him. IRGC, like emotional attachment to IRGC, I'm not worried about that. I am worried about people who are emotionally attached to the idea that Iran is supposed to be the place that we prepare for the Mahdi. So yes, that is a concern. And I think we are going to be having like close to 100,000 of them that could be even wanting to do terroristic activities. That is a concern. And I think we're going to have a Shia version of ISIS after the fall of the Islamic Republic that is going to cause a lot of security problems, that is going to cause a lot of headache for us to clean up. That is true. That is a concern.
But you will never not have people with bad ideologies in your population, whatever the
Right.
population size is, especially this huge of a population. No way.
Yeah.
It will never be perfect. We have stupid, horrible people. So we
It's
have
not the claim, though. The claim is that the power shift needs to be overseered in a very strict manner in a country like this because they have a history of doing very, very crafty and very, very intelligent manipulation of this power shift. I didn't say that ideology needs to be clean 100% across the board.
I see. Can I answer? I think once a mechanism, an organization, a government falls, breaks down, becomes, once the point is reached where it's actually breaking down, people cannot stay loyal to something that is not there anymore, you know? They can wish. It's not like a risk anymore. And also, revolutions happened before. It's challenging, but it's not the most challenging thing. But I get your point that they've been crafty
So
before. That's true.
So the problem is that they don't have to be that high in percentage to be able to cause a lot of problem, right? So again, we're talking about a population of 90 million Iranians, right? And I'm talking about 100,000 of them being like this. That not only they are very attached to the idea of like the Shia idea of that Iran needs to be Islamic and it needs to be for the rule of Mahdi to come, but they're also willing to do something about it. So my estimation is that there's going to be 100,000 of them that are like that, right? So you can see 100,000 is a very small percentage of a population of 90 million people. But then, even though it's a small percentage, we also have to remember that ISIS, at its peak, was 40,000 people. And it caused all of that headache with 40,000 people at its peak. So this is why this is a concern. We shouldn't take it lightly, but I think that we need to have a really strong military. We need to have a very strong police force. We need to have very strong intelligence operations that could find these people, identify them, neutralize them, stop their plans before they happen. Hopefully, maybe we could go back to working with Mossad. I mean, I think we could. I think a lot of these problems could be solved if we just open the like allow Mossad into Iran to assist with these operations with us. I think identifying these people and removing the threat will be a lot easier once Mossad is welcomed into Iran.